everyone, and welcome back to the Unverified Podcast.
Hey guys,
How are you doing, Micayla?
I'm good now that we figured this out and we've gotten a Zoom to try to get this recording together.
Yeah.
So,
Everything always seems easier than it actually
yeah,
is.
for sure.
Like,
I mean, but this
it
wasn't
is
difficult,
easy, but
right?
stuff
It wasn't
goes
difficult.
wrong.
It's just, and I wasn't in that era of Zoom calling and all that with school. So it's a little like, what do I click? All right. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Okay, so today's episode, we decided we were going to talk about timelines. We were talking, which is, what's even crazier is, I went out with my friend last night. And I got in the car and she was talking about it already. She was like, I was like, oh, this is just confirmation that we're supposed to talk about this. Just like, we're only in our early 20s, but it just feels like, so much things need to happen before a certain day and time.
Girl, my mom is calling me. Why would she do
Oh my gosh.
I talked to her like 5 times already today, so it's like, girl,
I'm surprised my mom hasn't called me, but
ooh,
yeah,
she sent those socks, so she's like, she's good.
no.
But no, yeah, it's not even that. Like, I know 100%. It's not that I'm like, ooh, I'm already almost 24. Like, yeah, that's the case, but it's more so the fact that you really realize how fast time goes, and that it's not that
Yeah.
you don't have time, because yeah, okay, we have time. Like, you can go back to school when you're damn 60. That's not the point. It's that 60 comes faster than you thought. So I'm like, hold on, carry the 124, like
Hmm.
getting
Yeah.
scary out here. And I told myself 28, like that'd be cute for a ring, maybe have a baby. And now I'm like, girl.
I know, because it was scary when we were talking about it, and we have the same like planned out goals that we wanted to have. Like I
Yeah.
always thought, okay, by like 28, I would be like either engaged or married, and I would have like my first kid before 30. And right now is giving that's not gonna happen. A lot can change in, what is it, like 4 or 5 years, but it's not looking promising. I just feel like my life is in shambles.
But yeah, it's like I think I put so much pressure on myself, not necessarily like, oh, to have it figured out by a certain age or to have this by a certain age, but I put a lot of pressure on myself to like complete or have something in my mind that is together and cohesive before I move on to another thing. So then I end up getting stuck because, like, okay, well, I'm not going to go back to school until X, Y, and Z, or I'm not going to leave this job until I do X, Y, and Z. I can't get a boyfriend until I do X, Y, and Z personally instead of just like going with the flow. So I think that hinders me. And it also is like, what you put out comes back. So if I'm putting out like, oh no, I can't have anyone until this, girl, you ain't gonna have nobody because where they at? Where? Nope, just me here. So yeah, I don't know. Wild 24.
I know. And it's like we're not even old. It's just like it's just moving so quickly. Because I
Yeah.
think about like talking about college and being like, oh, like even when we were talking about high school, like 10-year reunion is around the corner. Like, what the heck?
6. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy because I just feel like, I don't know. You know how they ask people like, are you somebody who interprets yourself moving through time, or do you see time moving through you? I feel like I'm definitely moving through time because time, I don't know, it's just like time. But now we're over here. That doesn't even make sense, but I'm gonna keep I don't know. It's just like,
I don't
girl.
know. But I'm always confused by that statement because, like, I need someone to explain moving through time and time moving through me because what even is that?
I think, okay, so me moving through time would be I'm the centerpiece. I am constant, but time is changing. Time moving through you would be like you feel like you have no control over time because time is just passing and you're like,
Mm,
that makes sense. I feel like that's what it means. Like,
I get that, but I don't know because for me, I like to reminisce a lot.
oh, for sure.
So I don't know if I'm moving through time or if it's moving through me because I'm like, I remember being little and life was just so great and
That sounds like you moving through time then.
mm,
You're reminiscing on your point of view at that point in time. Like, I remember when I was 3. That was back then, meaning I'm here now. This was 3. So
okay.
that's your perception of you moving through time. I feel like people who, because I'm that way too. Like, I feel like I'm like, oh my God, I'm 24. Oh my gosh. Like, but I feel like the time moving through you point of view is like, trying to think of an example. It would be, I don't know, like if you think of like, oh, Christmas is coming. I don't even know. I don't know. My brain doesn't work.
Okay, I have a question though.
Okay.
Okay, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Let's do 1, 3, 5, because that's usually what they do in like
3 years, 5 years.
jobs.
Oh God. Okay. I am not naive. There are people who, or a lot of people who plan or who see themselves like, yes, I'm going to school for this. By the time I'm here, I'm going to be a doctor, a nurse, or a business, like whatever, own my own business. But I feel like just by the way my life has gone thus far, I can't even predict where I'll be in 5 years because I feel like it'll be something that I was never anticipating and it'll be something good. But I feel like it was not that it was never in the plan. Like, I feel like it'll be something that was always something that popped up every now and then, but it was never my idea of, oh, wow, at 29, which is crazy to think about. 5 years will be 29. But so 1 year from now, I'll be 24, about to be 25. And I see myself most likely I will be back in school only because I told myself at 25, if I'm still at my job, no matter how well I'm doing, I'm going. Like, it's time to go.
Hmm.
So even though I said this last year, like, yeah, in the next year I'm gonna go back to school. Obviously, well, not obviously, but that hasn't happened yet. But as far as in the next year, 2 year and a half, just because it'll be like a year and a half when I turn 25, I definitely will be doing something else, whether it's actual 4 year college or if it's, I don't know, real estate or creative stuff, something different. 3 years. And it's funny that I'm like focusing more on career instead of internal and because that's just how I think. Like, a lot of my insecurities or my like self-doubt refers to career because I was the one who was supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z from the time I was 2 all the way to the time I graduated high school. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got straight A's," or, "Oh," like, even, my friends, "Micayla got this on the SAT. Oh, she's so smart." So now it's like I'm insecure whenever I like tell somebody, "Yeah, I work here." But it's like I'm making good money, so that ain't that ain't bad because y'all hoes broke out here. It's like, no, but I don't know. That's like a major insecurity when people ask me, like, what do you do? Oh, you went to school? Like, yes, I did. I was actually kind of smart. But 3 years, hopefully internally, I'll be like, I'm a confident person, but only in certain things. Like, I know I'm smart, I know I'm funny, I know, like, but I want to be more confident in just doing stuff that I don't care how somebody looks at me, like just actions. And I'm trying to start off the year just being more like not
Positive.
not even positive, just not caring, like doing things is like, I'll just do this and see. But 5 years, definitely, I can't even say where I'll be. It's like, I want to say this podcast blows up.
World tour.
World tour, actually in Europe. But yeah, in 5 years, I feel like it's going to be something that I just never anticipated, because there's a lot of things that people tell me, and it'll always be the same things. You should do this, you should do that. You're really good at this. And like we were talking about that video, or no, you posted the video where it was like, you're not afraid of failure, you're afraid of people seeing you fail. Yeah, Andy is. Andy is. And what are you gonna do about it? Because I sure am. I sure am. So we'll see where that takes me. Like I said, this year I'm trying things where I don't care what people say or how it goes, if it's bad, good, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah.
So now 135.
I don't know, because okay, this year, like you just mentioned the video I had posted about the failure. Like, I don't know, because for me right now, like my main thing is everyone's like keeps asking me, Sydney, when are you gonna like put out your business? Like blah 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 blah. But I don't know what it is in me. Like I hate talking about myself. Like I don't brag about all the things I've done. Like I just feel like if I bring it up, it's bragging. So and I don't like putting myself out there, but I told myself this year has to be the year that I do that. So like really just grinding on the machine
Mhm.
and getting the stuff done. Like I redid my whole little business plan to be more realistic. And I really want to do like flea markets this summer. Like that was always been a goal. And now I'm like, I could really be doing this. So I just need to like have some pieces done, start building a following, start promoting myself, like stop caring about
Hey,
people because they're going to talk whether it's good or bad. So might as well just like put it out there. Um, and really just focusing on that. Um, and then I guess 3 years, I see myself finishing grad school, like being in New York, because I've always said I wanted to do that program at FIT, and I'm almost done with my 3 years of work experience. So just,
crazy years. That's crazy.
yeah.
Years of work.
Well, it was at first, it was like 1.5 to 3 years, and they changed the requirement to 3 years. So I was like, oh, now I have to wait longer. But yeah, just being in New York, I really don't see myself being in LA for much longer. I want to move as soon as possible, but it's also like, I have a job now that I'm actually doing something in my career field. So just trying to figure all this out.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess 5 years, like the whole plan while working corporate is to be working on my business. I'm just so business focused right now. Like, what about my personal
I
life?
like it though.
One of my
Yeah,
biggest like fear, I wouldn't say it's a fear, but I know this about myself. Like I'm so career driven, is that I'll never like I wouldn't say I'll never settle down, but I'm so hesitant to like talk to people because I know if I got the opportunity of a lifetime and it was in Japan or like across the country, I would get up and go because
but
yeah.
I mean, and that doesn't necessarily mean, I know that you're not actively telling yourself, ooh, I'm hesitant, but that could also just mean you might find somebody who doesn't care. Like they're gonna follow you or they want you to be great and do what you want to do.
Yeah. But it's also that fear because, like, I just feel like as Black women, we have these grand ideas. We're really driven, and men are scared of that. And it's just, even me personally, like, my parents, everybody keeps asking me, like, what do you want to do with your life? Like, now that you know you don't want to do costuming, like, what is your goal? And it's like, I know in my head what my goal is, but I'm scared to speak it out loud because it's so ambitious. Like, I want to have a fashion company. I want to have my own manufacturing in-house. I like
And
that's
you
like
will.
the goal for me. And I've said I want my first like store location to be in Detroit downtown. Like I have everything I want to do, but it's
Right
just
by the
like
crib. Like, let me go up to Sydney's store real quick, see if she got anything new in there.
yeah, but it's just like I guess that's what it really is. I hate like putting things out there like my goals and stuff because I don't want to like pursue them and people know that, oh, I'm failing at pursuing it. That's the real thing for me.
Well, then just don't tell anybody. It's a whole lot of stuff that I've like in my
But I
head.
have to like promote myself.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't
but
know.
I mean, like, it's a difference in saying like, "Hey, I have a brand or I have this," and like, and saying like, "Yes," and in 5 years, this brand will be. But like, you don't always have to. Your mom called you too.
My
Why are we?
dad called me.
What's your dad?
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're really family oriented over here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I feel like don't be afraid to speak because I feel like that's the best type of goals. Like the goals that are big dreams are gonna sound like when guys are in school and they're like, I'm going to the NBA.
Hmm.
How many people do you think really like they might have encouraged them, but in their head they're like, man, that boy ain't going to no NBA.
Yeah.
Play his jump
But
shot.
I also feel crazy because it's like, okay, I pursued my goal, like my dream, and got it
Hmm.
and didn't like it. So now I feel like people are like, Sydney, you had everything and you're about to just leave it to try something else, which is my business because you try working 12 plus hour days, 5 days a week, sometimes six.
I'm saying it wasn't for you. Like you can
Yeah.
have multiple dreams. When you go to sleep at night, you don't have just one dream that night, do you?
No,
Okay, so you can have a dream, fulfill
can
that
change
dream,
it.
and be like, this isn't the one that I thought, like, this isn't fulfilling me the way I thought it would fulfill me.
Hmm.
And that's fine. You don't, you're not a fortune teller. Like, you can't think, oh, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make about 1.8 mil by 33. Like, you don't know the future. So just because you achieved some goal doesn't mean that that goal fulfilled you.
Yeah,
Thought it would, and it didn't. Next. And
that's
that's it.
true. Mm.
And that's it.
Yeah. I guess outside of work though, like I don't know. I just feel like once I like can start seeing my because I guess work just isn't I don't know how to explain it. Like isn't just a work goal. It's like, it's my dream. So once I start seeing that succeed, I just know everything else will kind of fall into place, like mentally in my life, like mental health, because I'll be like, oh, I really did it and I'm happy to be here and all that stuff. But personally, like, I don't, I don't know. Like,
But here's the
we
other
already said the whole one kid before 30. I
definitely.
just, I don't know where a man fits
But
into anything.
you see Ashanti and Nelly. First child
Yeah.
at 43 with the homeboy she was caked up with 20 years ago. But I was about to say, you've seen like those posts or those quotes to where they're telling you like, don't think, oh, when I achieve this, then I'll be happy, then life will fall into place. Because right now you still have to live. Like you don't have to be like,
Yeah.
when I get this and when I get that, because then if you get those things and you're still not happy, then what? Not that that's
Well,
gonna,
it's
I
not
don't,
like that. It's just like, I'm happiest when I am making something. That's why I have like so many arts and crafts that I randomly do that I need to stop picking up hobbies and stick to one. Cause I'm crocheting literally over here. I got scrapbooking materials over here, like, and then I'm sewing all the time. So I just feel like if I can sew and that can finally like make someone else happy, like when I make something for someone else and they like it, like that's a huge like booster for me. So that's not the problem. It's more so um I don't even know what I'm trying to say
I
anymore.
get what you're saying. And I wasn't necessarily saying like you get these things. And I just meant like we still
I know
have
what
to,
you meant. Yeah.
because that might be 4 years away, might be 2 years away. But if it's 4 years, you can't think, oh, it's gonna be 2 years. So I just have 2 years to hold on. But I mean, I do the same thing though. I'll do like right now, I'm not really actively figuring anything out. Like I'm trying, but it's just like not going anywhere. But I do the same thing, like, oof, I wish I could fast forward 15 years just to see like what did I do? What did I become?
Yeah.
How did I get there? Like, whoa.
Yeah. I
That's a,
think about that all the time.
yeah, I think about that like because I'm not, I understand now. I understood, but it's different when you actually experience it. I remember my uncle had told me like you don't go back to school within 2 years, you'll probably never go back because you start making money and you do this, you do that.
Hmm.
Then you can't go back or don't want to because the money's too good.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. I'm like, I got this apartment, like, got this job, and I don't have school, so I can go to work and just, but at the same time, I am the person who, at the end of the day, I know I am not going to be at this job for 10 years. I'm not going to be at this job for 20 years. I know a lot of people have probably said that, but I know for a fact I won't be. So whenever I leave, whenever I figure it out, I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm excited to see what it is because, girl, the book I'm going to write.
Girl, I could write a book already.
You,
Like,
you could, but I'm going to write a book or I'm going to be like a side gig, like motivational speaker. Like, yes, I was just like
okay.
you. And look at me. I'm rich, bitch. It's like, nah, but so, yeah, we just need to stop putting so much pressure on each other. I mean, on ourselves. Like,
Yeah. But it's hard not to. I'm such a planner and it's hard like to let go and try to not be in control. But I learned to let go and not be in control last year. So we're gonna stick to it. That's why I'm like so hesitant to, plan anything because last year was so chaotic. I'm like, I don't want to get my heart broken again like it was so much.
I definitely feel that.
We had to take a break and now
Yeah,
we're
we
back.
now.
So
All right. Cue the commercial break. Okay. All right. So I have a question for you.
Mhm.
If there was something that you could change or do, like something you didn't do that you wish you did, or something that you just want to change altogether, that would impact where you are right now, what would it be?
I have many.
Okay,
um,
top two maybe.
I would say a top one for me is I would have never gone to Groves. I would have went to Cass. Like I wish I would have had the opportunity to tell my mother no and be
Mm,
like, no, I don't want to go here. But I didn't. So I was so miserable there, and I feel like it completely changed me as a person,
Mm,
because I went there and ate lunch by myself. If I ate lunch, like that's when that just whole time period in my life was just a lot because my dad got diagnosed with cancer, and
that was a lot
it
going
was
on.
just like a really low moment going to a school where I knew nobody, and um it just wasn't it for me. So yeah, that's like a really big one.
Yeah. And
Um
Cass, I mean, Cass is a place you would have definitely known people just based
mhm.
on stuff that you were into or that your mom had you into. And then like just as like the interests you have, there's, a lot of that going
It
on
would
and
have been better for
that
me because I
show and the brand.
the reason I wanted to go there is because you could do fashion.
Mm,
And I was like in fashion club or whatever. It wasn't really a club, it was a class we
mm.
had. But it wasn't anything compared to Cass. Like I had to fight to get that class to keep going because not that many people signed up. So yeah, that's like a really, really big one for me.
I was the opposite. My mom was like, "Oh, what about Cass?" I saw one day on like Instagram or something. It was a picture after school, like when people are standing around. Wait, girl, I said, mm-mm, too many people. No, thank you. Mm-mm, no. Mm-mm. The social anxiety was like, girl, you could never.
Mm-mm.
I did it. Okay, what's your second one?
I don't remember. Come
You
back
said
to
you had
me.
a lot.
I
Okay.
do have a lot, but like I now that I'm thinking about that one, I can't. I have to go
Like,
think.
you're clouded.
Yeah.
Okay. Judgment get clouded when you're clouded.
Oh, I do have my other one, but
Go ahead.
um, I would have done freshman year of college a lot differently.
Mm,
Um, like I started so many things freshman year of college that I didn't like finish. Like I, not saying I would have ever been great in the modeling troupe, but I went to that first little tryout and it was 2 days of tryouts.
mm,
And because the other girls in my dorm no longer wanted to go to tryouts, and I didn't know how to get back to that dorm for the tryouts, I just never went back. And then like I tried out for cheer, but in my mind, I'm like looking back, I'm like, I'm a dancer. I only
mm.
cheered in high school because I wasn't dancing anymore. I'm sorry, you hear that the whole siren.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you don't hear it? Okay, good, because it's
Wee, wee,
somebody's getting arrested. I don't know.
wee, wee, wee. Sorry, don't want to get censored.
You know?
Sorry. Please don't copyright us. We are just
You are
emerging.
fine.
Please. It's like, nah.
Yeah. But I should have been a dancer in like the band
Yeah, I was
because
about to
I
say
could see
major.
myself doing that. And then even like one of my neos was like, Sydney, why didn't you ever do it? Because you're like you're so fluid when you stroll. I was like, I just didn't think about that. Like my roommate at the time was like trying to get me to do it, but I know like even if I would have gone back and done it, it would have never really worked out for me because my major was so demanding. Like I couldn't have been in the building sewing all the time if I had to be at band practice all the time. Like it just would have never happened. But that's like another one outside of like other things that happened freshman year. But yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
So
I
we'll
was
move
like,
on.
yeah, that's fair. Well, I know mine are like they're specific, but like they kind of tie into each other. It's kind of like a combination. So, first of all, it's really easy to say things in retrospect. Like in the moment when I was in school, I went to Spelman. Spelman didn't have any sports, any intramural sports, none of that because they had just cut it. But at the time, I did not mind not playing basketball because I wanted to go to Spelman. So I was always, because I was lucky enough to have a mom that was going to pay for me to go to school, I didn't need to play here in order to get my education or whatever. So I was always school first. I'm not going to go to a school I don't want to be at just so that I can play basketball. However, I do really believe that if I had gone to school and been playing a sport, whether that's basketball, track, but mostly basketball, because track I was good at, but it wasn't like my passion. I just enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But basketball, if I had been playing, most likely I would have finished school because I would have needed to go to class in order to play. I would have needed good grades in order to play. So I would have gone to class so I could play. But it's also like at the time, there was no regret there because this is the school I wanted to go to. It just so happened that it wasn't even the school, it just was the perfect storm that I was like, take me out, coach. Let me go back home. Like, no. And then the other thing is, and my mom will probably listen to this, but she already knows because I've told her this. If I was able to either take a semester off going into my first year, or if I was able to take a semester off after my first semester of freshman year, I think it's easy to say because I might have still been in the same situation and not gone back. But I do think I would have been more inclined to go back because I would have had this rest, like, okay, let me go back because I was always the ambitious, or like I knew what I wanted to do and I was good at school. So it was like, and I'm dramatic. So when I said I don't want to go to college because I don't know what I want to do, can I take a year off? My mom is probably thinking I'm being a dramatic child, which was fair because,
Mm-hmm.
most likely was the case. But once I didn't know anymore what I wanted to do, it was like, mm. But after my first semester, when I explicitly over and over was like, I want to take a semester off. Please, can I take a semester off? It was very much, you don't need to take a semester off. Why do you need a semester off? Like, even I gone to the doctor one time, and because my mom is a doctor, she knew the doctor because she would refer people to her. And so they were like, not like friends, but colleagues or whatever. And I remember I was sitting there and she was like, your generation, because she had an accent. I think she's like from Africa somewhere, but she was like, your generation, you guys in this year off. You don't need a year off. What do you need that for? And I was like, and my mom was like, right, right. I'm like, girl, I'm here for MRI. Can you do that, please? But I think had I been allowed to do that, it would have ended up different. And so, like, after the fact, when my mom's like, I spent $40,000 for you. And so girl, the whole point of me wanting to take a semester off was, yes, for myself. And at the same time, I'm like, I don't want my mom wasting money for me to not be going to school or going to class. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to save you. So if you in the hole, which you're not, but if you are, sometimes you gotta listen. When God say move, you move. And I said, move. Let me stay home for a semester. But yeah, so I think that definitely impacted where I am right now. Because basketball was always like a big part of my life and me. And still to this day, I will watch highlights every day when I get home from work, like still there. So yeah, there's that. That's all I got majorly.
Why are you looking like that?
Because I'm just like, that's it. I don't know anything else. I don't have anything else to say about that.
Mm, I don't know what to say after that.
Why?
Sometimes parents just need to listen. Like, I don't know. And
Yeah,
I hate myself because
don't say
why do
that.
I keep going into, I'm
About
sorry, I don't like the way that I keep going into all these different accents because I don't know where they come from. They just come out my mouth. And I'm like,
hip hip cheerio.
mm, sometimes I sound a little Southern. I'm like, where did these come from?
I got caught when I went to school. Keep in mind, I'm going to school in Atlanta. We're in the South.
Mm-hmm.
I remember everybody was calling me so country. One girl was like, "Oh, you country." Homegirl from Alabama. I said, "Well, how am I? What's going on here? You're from Alabama." And I, what is going on with my accent? And it was another girl like, "Where you from? Texas?" "Ma'am, I am from Michigan." Okay. Right about here. No, I am not. Maybe I'm a little country just by, I feel like a lot of Detroiters, we have a Southern type of accent. Some of that is because a lot of our relatives are from down there and moved up here,
Mm-hmm.
moving to the Motor City, or like my
To
grandparents
work
are
on the to work in the
right.
plant.
My grandparents are both from Alabama and they came
Mm-hmm.
up here to be teachers, but it's still like our roots. Our roots, oh yeah, they was on them farms. They was slinging them chickens.
You know.
Okay, they was churning that butter. My great grandma was making butter and giving it to the neighbors. Yeah, okay, it's in the blood. It's in there. But yeah,
I don't know. The Detroit accent is just so
I think it's like
interesting.
a
It's
it's,
like country,
it's
but not
country, but
country.
it's like I feel like the Detroit accent is kind of like a combination of country and like Western,
Yeah.
like a combo of
I always think of it as like hood country. Like I don't know.
something. Yeah, but it's weird because we still also pronounce our letters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not like, yeah, man. Like I do sometimes when I'm talking like I'm straight up out the sticks down. So like when I'm talking like that, yeah, sometimes. But for the most part, we enunciate our R's and our like we still have a crunchiness to those letters and not just like oh, where that all at, boy? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like a mixture of like West Coast and country. It's so weird to me. But hey, I don't hear an accent. So
I don't
I,
either until I go back and watch my video and I'm like, who is
really,
this
that's because
person?
you live in LA, I think. LA, North Carolina.
No, but I've always been like self-conscious ever since college because nobody says pop. And I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go get a
So
pop
first
from the
of
vending
all,
machine. They'll be like,
oh,
pop.
now I will die on this mountain. All right. Now let me break it down for all my listeners and or viewers. When you have iced coffee, you're drinking coffee, right? It's just iced. It's cold. It has ice in it, right? When you have mint tea, the tea you're drinking is mint flavored, but it is tea.
Oh my God.
When you're drinking strawberry lemonade, guess what you're drinking? You're drinking lemonade, but it got a little strawberry in it, right? So if I say soda pop, what am I drinking? I'm drinking
Pop.
pop, but the type of pop it is soda. I don't care what anybody says. I will die on this hill. Soda is the adjective. Who calls something by its adjective? You call it the noun. What is this? A red cup, right? I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, hand me that red. No, ma'am. Give me that cup. Okay, thank you. That's it. Welcome to my TED Talk. And that's it. I don't care. You can't convince me otherwise. So, all of my friends from Atlanta or anybody listening, my family members, anybody, I don't care what you say. Soda sounds crazy. Hope I don't offend anyone, but I don't care. All right, that's it.
Okay. You're
Hopefully
off
my
your
pop
soapbox.
filter is working
You
while
know
I say
what?
all these pop words. Yeah.
Well, I don't think I have anything else to say.
Okay. I think that's a good little, way to end it by
Okay.
cutting them trees down, talk about soda. All right. All right.
Um,
Well, that concludes episode 2, I guess.
yeah. You can follow us on Instagram as a podcast, on Instagram is unverified.pod. On YouTube, we are also unverified, I believe, .pod as well, or unverified pod.
I don't
We'll
know.
put it, it'll be in the little description.
I
It'll be
just
there.
searched unverified account pod. That's what it comes
It
up on.
might be unverified accounts pod
We'll get
on
it together.
YouTube. And yeah, that's really it. My Instagram is sydnimilan, sydnimilan. Don't know how to spell my own name. Okay.
And mine is at mc.chrst. It's not Christ, though. I'm not blasphemous. All right.
Thank you guys. See you
All
next
right.
time.
Bye.
Bye.